Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review movies and today's film is Boy Kills World. It's an action film set on a dystopian version of Earth. A young man is raised to be a weapon after his family is murdered by a bloodthirsty regime. The story is based on a short film by Rend Remmers and Moritz Moore, who adapted it into a screenplay with the help of Tyler Burton Smith. Moritz Moore directed the film, which stars Bill Skarsgård and H. John Benjamin as the boy, Andrew Koji as Basho, and Yayan Ruyan as the shaman. As usual, I'm going to start with the good, then give you the bad, and finish off with a few personal thoughts and a rating. So let's jump into it. The story is an all-out bloodbath with highly entertaining characters, a bunch of great little twists and turns, and non-stop hilarity. It's filled with excitement, action, and a little bit of gore. All the things you need to get your blood pumping. Most of its characters seem stereotypical at first, but end up showing off a surprising amount of nuance for a mindless action film. They also managed to pull off one of the greatest gag characters of all time. I won't spoil it, but Benny the Resistance Fighter is truly amazing. Its villains were also especially fascinating. None of them are your typical villainous types except for Famke Janssen, whose character doesn't play much of a role in the story anyway. The others are neurotic, immoral people who show off a surprising amount of self-awareness. For action, you get endless, fast-paced, hand-to-hand fighting and a good amount of gunplay with a plethora of creative deaths. There's lots of fantastic stunt work as well as quite a few editing tricks employed to make the fights look snappy and brutal. They include gory kills, injuries, and at times it's almost like a slasher horror film with how brutally people are killed. There are no lines that can't be crossed here, they kill everyone. For humor, there are a variety of comedy styles. There are visual gags, funny references, and non-stop jokes from the narrator. There's also a lot of comedy found in the conflicting nature of the highly corporate but extremely violent dictatorship. Watching the state's executioners dance to an ad jingle was both a bit terrifying and hilarious at the same time. The cast does a great job with their roles. There are lots of gag characters and almost cartoonish personalities. Everything everyone says and does is over the top, but they commit so hard to the role that it comes out looking awesome and eliciting a lot of laughs. Bill Skarsgård and H. John Benjamin managed to pull off some decent action comedy moments between their combined acting skills. Isaiah Mustafa and Andrew Koji were both hilarious and highly charismatic, and all of the villains did a great job of being hateable. The visual journey is all about creating a dark and dingy dystopian world for the characters to have grand battles in, and they do a surprisingly good job of it. The world was an intoxicating mixture of fake corporate messaging and authoritarian regime that felt unsettling. For big locations, they had a gun manufacturing warehouse, a television studio with a Christmas-themed murder park, and a futuristic bunker for important people. Each of them had lots of environmental dangers for the characters to interact with, and they made effective use of the spaces to create fantastic-looking fights. Behind the visual journey was a good mixture of music from different genres. There was pop music, techno, a bit of rock and roll, etc. They used it to follow the emotional journey a bit and to try and set the atmosphere. During the fights, it would help build tension and build out the background as well. It was almost always entertaining, and often they managed to use the music in directly telling the story. My favorite instance of this was during the climax. Two characters have an unspoken conversation, and the music is telling the audience exactly what the outcome will be. It was a great moment. On the negative side of things, the story does injuries really badly. The leads will take on wounds and keep fighting like they're at 100%, and they'll shrug off mortal injuries, but then other characters will die in a single hit. It's really inconsistent across the board and gets almost comical by the end. They also lit the film really poorly. It's so dark that at times I felt like my eyes were being strained just looking at it. It's not just the night scenes or dark scenes either. You do get used to it after a while, but it's a little annoying. The story is also not great at giving weight to its emotional sections, and so they can feel a bit shallow or stunted when you get to them. It's clearly an action comedy, but that doesn't mean that literally everything has to be a joke. Overall, I found Boy Kills World to be like a modern-day shoot-'em-up. It's got action, it's got comedy, and the story has just enough emotional beats that you can get really invested in what's going on. They did a great job with the fights, the music, and the cast is wonderful. They also took a lot of chances. Not all of them worked quite as well, but such is life. If you like gory action films, this one will make you happy. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 7 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye.